Yo, hello ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, or whatever time you're watching this. We're back at it with another weekly markup. I'm not in a trade right now. Oh shit. I'm not in a trade right now, but I'm not in a trade right now, so we're going over all of my pairs this week. Alright, so let's get started. NZDCAD, you can pause it and read it. I'm obviously at work right now. I get to do this at work. I get to do my own personal work while I'm in my 9 to 5 job, right? So I'm on the GBPJPY right now, so let's get into NZDCAD. And let's start on the monthly. So on the monthly, we're actually turning bearish again. We were turning bullish. So we were bullish, now we're turning bearish. Why are we turning bearish? Well, first of all, we were bullish because we were first bearish, and then price had failed to break below 0.78500, and then we had a bullish engulfing candle above 0.80. You can't really see it that well because it's all tight, but you can see. So we're really right at 0.80 actually. So we're right on top of a key level, so we have to watch out for it this month. Are we gonna wick it and continue back up, or we're gonna break below it and continue back down? That's why it's still bullish, turning bearish on the monthly, because this could still be a potential higher low above 0.80, right? And continue, and this could literally just be a pullback for price to continue back up, right? But now we are respecting below 0.82500 and 0.81500. They were previous areas of supply, turning into new areas of supply again. Adelante, adelante. Yo, alright, we're back. Obviously I'm at work, so I have to answer my calls, right? I'm like in a little store and on a warehouse, right? I have to give away the parts that people be needing, right? But back to my real job, my personal job. Price failed to keep on breaking highs above 0.82. We are bullish turning bearish because of that, and we also failed to keep on breaking highs above 0.81500. So now let's get into the weekly. The weekly, you could already tell we're fully bearish. You could already see previous area of supply respected at 0.83. Previous area of supply respected below 0.82500, and then we have a previous area of strong supply turn into demand, now turning into supply again at 0.81 below 0.81500. And on the weekly, this is on the weekly, we look like we're gonna close with the really fat bearish engulfing candle, but we're still above 0.80. And then as well, this bearish engulfing candle is not confirmed because price can literally reject back to the upside, but we have to watch out for this weekly close on Sunday when the market opens. Well, today, later on today, right? So but we're still bearish on the weekly. On the daily, we're fully bearish now. Obviously the lower high in the bearish engulfing candle below 0.82, lower high in bearish engulfing candle below 0.81500, and then we just have to wait right now for 0.80. Literally the same thing on the 4-hour. We just have to wait for price action to see what it does at 0.80. And you could already see we had already some of a reaction right above, a bullish reaction right above 0.80, but we're not looking like it's strong. It looks like it's gonna continue mounting, to be honest, but we still have to watch out for it. Next, let's get into USDCAD. You could pause it and read it. Monthly bearish, weekly bearish, daily bearish, each one bearish. Fully bearish on USDCAD. And the dollar's already shifting because obviously everything that's going on. Alright, so monthly, we're fully bearish. Previous area of supply tested and respected over here below 146, and then we have this previous area of strong supply turning to demand over here, bearish engulfing candle and lower high below it, and then we have that again, bearish engulfing candle and lower high below it as well, below 193, below 1.39. What am I saying? 193. So oh no, that's on the monthly. So no, that was on the weekly, so we have to be on the monthly. Literally the same thing. So to keep on breaking highs above 146, respected as supply, and then we have a bearish engulfing candle and a lower high below 139. And then on the weekly, we already went over it. On the daily, you can already see the daily we're fully bearish. We were kind of turning bullish here, but price respected its previous area of supply at 137,500. Actually, yeah, I want to say 137. But now we're approaching previous area of demand, which were these previous areas, which was 135. So let's see what price does here. Is price gonna respect it and continue back up, or more than likely, because obviously these buyers didn't have any strengths, we're more than likely gonna continue selling. But the thing is, we don't have any more liquidity to the downside. Well, actually we do. We have these lows right here. Well, we're also creating liquidity right here, obviously the seller's liquidity. But what is price action doing right now? It's selling. So it makes more sense to look for a sell, right? You want to trade with the trend. And then on the 4 hour, we're fully bearish, right? Previous area of supply respected. We actually could have gotten in a sell somewhere below here. Now actually we have to see what price does here. This is previous area of demand right above the zone. So now let's see what price does at this key zone. So this is actually a zone where we have to watch out for either a buy here or sells here, right? So this could be a potential market open trade. Gotta be watching out for it. Now let's get into UJ. You could pause it and read it. Monthly bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish, H4, H1 bullish. Let's start off on the monthly. On the monthly, you can already see we're overall bullish. Bullish engulfing candle at higher low above 125. Support respected above 140. Bullish engulfing candle and another higher low above 153. How we were turning bearish last month, but we could already see, or even last week, but you could already see that this previous week would already flip back up bullish, and how we respected this previous area of 153 as previous area of as a new demand, and we're already making our way back up to 158, 500 and 160. So we hop into the weekly. You can see it, price is fully bullish, respected previous area of supply and demand, respected a new demand, bullish engulfing candle above 153, and we're already on our way back to 158, 500. So this push was strong. The second push was not as strong. This is already indicating that price has more strength for buys, at least on UJ, which is weird because USDCAD is bearish, but then UJ is bullish, right? But then it's two different currencies. The second currency is obviously different, the CAD and JPY. So let's get into the daily. The daily we're bullish. This would have been a really good zone to get into a trade. Previous areas of sales, previous areas of buys, previous areas of buys, price tested it and respected it, and boom, we had a huge push. And now we're in another zone right here. The previous area, strong area of buys, when already that strong, right? But then previous area of strong sellers. But then this area could again become a new strong area for buys. So as long as price stays above this area, we should see price continue back up to 160. And maybe if it breaks back below this area, we could see price break back down to 153. Because obviously it's supply and demand. On the 4 hour, that's why on the 4 hour I'm not in a sell, but I could see why somebody could be in a sell right now, right? Because price could fake out the buyers. It already faked out the sellers. This is already because people were in sales here, right? Based off this area of supply and demand. Well, here this were the first sellers. They got stopped out. Then buyers got stopped out, and then the sellers really thought that it was about to push in. Because I think I got into this trade as well too. Let me see. I got into Friday trades, but actually I did get into it. My first trade, it was. I'm just trying to open my freaking Excel. I'm signing into my Excel here. So I traded UJ. I took 3 trades on Friday on UJ. But let me just open the damn. So you can see UJ trades, and then at the first ever position was a UJ shorts, which I caught 45 pips on. And then I took buys. These were all scalps on the 1 minute. but I could see how somebody could already be scalping UJ and would already be in profit, and I literally missed that trade too because I was already up for the day and I didn't want to trade anymore. Well, actually, we could go over that right now. That's more like a scalper because your TP is at the 4-hour support, right? Because if somebody would be in those cells that I just showed you, your TP is at this support. So now, price would either have to do this for us to continue the bullish trend, or maybe it does continue bearish and we break below and create a lower high. And we already have a first target right here, right? Another previous area of supply turned into new demand. We just have to wait. And then we have zoom in into the smaller time frame. You can see, let's say on the 3-minute, the only reason you would have entered this trade was because previous area of supply, it got tested and got respected. Huge bearish engulfing candle right after testing it, and then look what happened, a lower high. So you could have even taken the trade without even putting your stop loss that high. You could have put it in right here already. You didn't have to put it here, but obviously here's a little bit safer. Here you could have put in it, and that would have been a 8 pip stop loss. To obviously you would have, this has to be TP1 because this is a push that gave you the test. So this would have been the TP1. I mean, you would have been risking, let's say, 10 pips to make 40 pips. Once this target hits this area of support, which this area is the higher time frame support, this. So it makes sense that our price is gonna hit it. And now let's see what price is gonna do. Are we gonna test it and continue to buy, or are we gonna test it and break below and continue to sell? All you have to do is wait. Now let's get into GJ. You could pause it and read it. Monthly bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish, H4, H1 bullish. Very similar actually to UJ. I think I've said it before. UJ and GJ, I think they correlate very, very much with each other. So overall on the monthly, we're overall bullish. Previous area of strong supply turned into new demand over here at 195, and then we have a previous area of strong supply at 208. What are we doing? We're turning into new demand, and we're headed to our next key level, which happens to be 214,500, which actually happens to, if we could even stretch it all the way over here to 14,500. You can see how there's a reaction right here based off this area of strong supply that gave us this huge drop. That was 214,500. This is why it's very important that you do your top-down analysis, even if you're a scalper, right? I'm not a swing trader, but I may hold my trade for a very long position. If I set my stop loss at risk free and I already secured, I'm letting that shit run. So now we're fully bullish on the weekly. No, we're fully bullish on the monthly, and now we're fully bullish on the weekly. We were turning bearish. Well, we're somewhat turning bearish, but we would have only turned bearish if price would have broken below 208 and came back and respected this previous area of supply as new supply or supply again, right? But what's it doing now? It's testing it actually at new demand. Now we're looking like we're gonna close with the bullish engulfing candle this week, and then we're looking like we're on the way back to 14,500. Then on the daily, you can already see we're bullish. You just zoom in a little bit, right above 208, huge bullish engulfing candle. What does price do? Comes back, tests that previous area of strong demand, and then instantly respects it. This could have already been a trade right here, but if you wanted a safer trade, look, we had some supply right here, a daily supply, bullish engulfing candle above that, and boom, price came back to test that. So we had a nice key entry here, another key entry here, and we're looking like price is already gonna go to 14,500 from here, dude. Clear as day. Obviously, this would have been your TP1 if you would have gotten in these buys. So your buys would have been looking something like this. I literally missed out on this trade, to be honest. But it's cool coming back to see where you could have gotten in on a trade. 60 pips to make 250. That's the thing with GJ, bro. You have to risk a lot, but obviously you're going to make a lot. But you have to be willing to be in drawdown 60 pips, or even be able to hit 60 pips. As you can see, this trade would have probably gone in drawdown 50 pips, 40 pips. It would have not hit your stop loss, but then again, you would have seen some drawdown. But this is why it's very important too. Obviously, you wouldn't have gone into that trade on the daily. You would have to zoom in to the 4 hour. The 4 hour, you could already see we're bullish, but you would have been looking for the trade somewhere right here after maybe the bullish engulfing candle here, right? Maybe even here as well. But then this, you would have gotten a profit. Price would have came back and stopped you out, and then it would have done this bullshit, ranged for a bit, and then it came back, right? You see, like the main push happens, and then price comes back and stops you out, and then it does this, and then it does a full push back up to the upside, which is very annoying. But if you would have just not set your stop loss and break even, you would have just held your trade because TP1 is still not hit, you would have been fine. These are psychological things too, right? Trading is very psychological. But overall, we're still bullish. I see price hitting 214,500 maybe on Sunday, right? So we just have to wait. Obviously, GJ, we already missed out on the buy, but UJ and USDCAD we can have and even NZDCAD we can have a potential trade. But GJ overall, I see it hitting 214, and maybe at 214 we can have a potential trade. Either sells back down after maybe clearing everything, maybe something looking like this. So it does this, clears all the highs, and then it fakes out buyers, and then boom, it melts back down, which is crazy. I've seen price do that multiple times. But then price could also continue just bullish, right? So we have to watch out for 214,500. Now, last but not least, GBPUSD. You can pause it and read it. Monthly bullish turning bearish, weekly bearish, daily bearish turning bullish, each word one bullish. GBPUSD. So on the monthly, you always want to start off on the monthly. Oh, actually, this was all back testing trades right here. I was back testing GBPUSD yesterday, right after I had finished marking it up. And actually, I think I have to post that video too, how to backtest for free. Because obviously, if you go try to backtest, let's say let's say you can backtest right now on the monthly, right? But if you try to backtest on the 4 hour, you see you have to wait. No. Well, you see you have to pay for this shit. Who the fuck wants to pay for this shit? But you can actually backtest on the daily, and the daily is good enough that you can backtest from wherever you want, and you can see all of the trades that you had gotten in before. Which it is, I have to delete. I don't know why it's still here. Those are backtesting trades. So that's literally how you can backtest technically for free. Alright, let's get into the monthly, weekly markup. Weekly markup. So we were bullish, and now we're turning bearish. Why are we turning bearish? Because price failed to keep on breaking highs above 138, but we're still bullish because, I mean, we're still technically above 134, and 134 happens to be a previous area of strong supply and previous area of strong demand. And we also did have a bullish engulfing candle above, you can see, above 134. So this could possibly be a rejection and continue, but honestly, I don't see that. I do see price continuing back down. But actually, who knows, man? It could literally reject here because on the H4, H1, and the daily, we're already turning bullish. So it's very important we see what price does at 134. If we stay above it, we're most likely gonna see buys. If we continue, actually, I wouldn't even sell till we break below 132. To be honest, just because this level of 134 is so strong, and you can see it's been ranging between 132 and 134, and then this below 132 was a fake out. So we have to really watch out for 134, and we're right above it. But on the weekly, we are bearish already. We have a double top below 138, and then we have a lower high and bearish engulfing candle. But we still have not a bearish engulfing candle below 134. I want to see a bearish engulfing candle below 134 for these sales just to be, long-term valid. On the daily, we're bearish turning bullish. Why are we turning bullish? Because price is respecting this previous area of strong demand, and we're actually barely above 134. You can see we're at 134.39. So it's very important to see how this daily candle is going to close. Are we going to close with rejection below 134, or are we going to bullish engulf and create a higher low and continue? It's like, I want to know already, but I have to wait for the market to open. And on the 4 hour, we're bullish already because we have a higher low above 133. You can see price tested the previous area of demand, failed to keep on breaking lows below it, huge rejection, high low above it, and bullish engulfing candle, and we're already breaking highs, right? So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna continue breaking highs, create a higher low, or are we gonna reject and continue bearish? So this is another potential trade that we could potentially get on Sunday, right? So we have to wait for the market to open and see how everything does. Man, a lot of good setups this week. Back to work. Peace and love to anybody watching this. I command you health, wealth, knowledge, wisdom for you and your entire family. Peace and love.